right, hello guys. I couldn't be there with you in person, so your teacher, Miss Rice, asked if I could just go over a few tools that you might want to use on your upcoming project. So I have about 6 I'm going to introduce you to, and then I'm also going to show you a website you can go to. If none of the tools I introduced are of interest to you, you can always go on to this other website, and there are hundreds of different things you can sift through and find what you're looking for. All right, so first, just real quick, these are the 6 tools I'm going to go over: Powtoon, eMaze, Prezi, Canva, Pictochart, and this is one where my storybook, you can make a story basically. Typically, I introduce these to teachers, so you guys, this is the first time I'm actually showing students. So we'll start with eMaze and Prezi. So if you're looking for a presentation slideshow kind of setup, then these 2 are good options. They are way more creative and engaging than a typical PowerPoint. So just to show you, this is eMaze. These are just examples of what people have been able to do. So again, it's very typical. If you've made slideshows before, it's kind of the same format where you can add text and add pictures, and you can set up as many slides as you want. So again, I'm just briefly going over these, and then you can kind of explore them more if you want to. So here's an example of an eMaze. And then you can also share these with your teacher. So look, there's a template here that was on eMaze, and it's like an art gallery, which is really cool. So you can already see how this is way better than a typical PowerPoint. So that's eMaze. And then Prezi, some of you might have already heard of Prezi. Again, same idea, slideshow, except you're zooming in and out, and things are just a little more interactive. So let's see one. Here's an example. Now Prezi is a little more complicated, so if you get in there, there are tutorial videos. If you get stuck on how to do something, you can always YouTube it or Google it. But there's a lot more you can do on Prezi. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking for something a little more straightforward, then you're probably going to go with eMaze. So you can see how it zooms in, zooms out. You can upload photos. You can add text. It's kind of cool. So there's Prezi. Next up, digital bulletin boards. So maybe you just want to have one page with a bunch of graphics or videos or links or text, but you just want it to be one big like bulletin board. But if you can imagine a digital version of that, you've got 2 here. These are like almost identical in my opinion. I use Pictochart. So let me take you there real quick. So I use this one a lot. There are free templates, and then there are templates you have to pay for. So obviously you're going to want to choose the free ones. But with Pictochart, you can add different blocks. You can change the background, and you can change the font of text, and you can add different text. And I think it's pretty straightforward. But here's some examples of people's Pictocharts. So again, it's just a big page, and I'm just scrolling down. And you can make it as long as you need to. When you click on a box, there's a little wheel, and you're allowed to add on another box or block, they call them blocks, or you can lengthen the block you have. And then Canva, again, same idea. So you can see these are just like almost posters, right? Digital posters. And then they have a few that you can kind of slide through. But it's the same idea. This one's probably a little more modern looking. Looks like there's more photographs rather than Pictochart has a lot more icons like cartoon stuff. Okay, Powtoon. Powtoon is amazing. So maybe for this project you want to make like a cartoon or an animation. You should get on Powtoon. Let me see if I can find an example here. Education Powtoons. And with Powtoons, you can do a voiceover. So not only are you having something visual, but
A nice teacher who taught the class in a
you can
traditional
hear.
manner
You can
and
also
assigned
have
homework to be done the same
music
night.
and
This was a
write
problem
or
for Susan at
speaking.
times, because she would get easily distracted and not remember much about the lesson afterward.
So that's Powtoon. Powtoon can be a little time intensive. So I'm not sure how long Mrs. Rice is giving you. If you want to do a Powtoon, great, but it is going to require a little more time, only because you're grabbing and you're basically creating everything from scratch. So if you have internet at home and this is something you want to use, awesome. But if she's only giving you like 1 or 2 days in class and you can't work at home, then you're probably not going to want to do a Powtoon. And then lastly, my storybook. So my storybook is just like it sounds. If you want to kind of, let's see here, if you want to create a story with pictures, then here, this is the site for you. Oh, this one's in Russian. It's kind of interesting. Here, someone named this My Valentine. So these are easy to make. There are already backgrounds in there, but if you want to add photos, you go, to Google and you search your photos and then you save them on your desktop or something and upload them on here. So you can add photos from the internet. But you can see there's text, there's illustration, just like a typical storybook. And then these are easy to share. Everything I've shown you today can be shared. So if you have to turn it into like Google Classroom or something, you can always share, find the link, copy, paste it into whatever, wherever you have to turn it in. So there you are. Ms. Rice has this presentation. So if you saw something and you kind of forgot what it was or forgot the name, I gave this to Ms. Rice, so maybe she can pull this slide up and you can go from there. So the very last thing I want to show you is cool tools for schools. If you just Google that, you'll get to this wiki space. This has a lot of other tools along the left side for you. So maybe you didn't want to do any of those. You'd rather do a video or something with drawing, music. I mean, everything over here you can click on and it can bring up all these different tools. Now, I don't know if all of them are free. But again, this is a really good site to go to. Teachers go to it, students should too, because it gives you some new ideas. So there you go. And here's the presentation tools. There are a lot on here that I couldn't go over that you might be interested in. So good luck and have fun.